Hello everyone, thank you for watching ICO Grill. Today we have with us Gianluca Corbellini, CEO and co-founder of HivePower. Hello Gianluca and welcome to ICO Grill. Could you briefly explain what HivePower is and why the world needs such a project?
So basically it's about the integration of distributed renewable energy, mainly so solar and wind energy in the electrical grid. So we're facing a paradigm shift in the energy business. So we're moving from a centralized world where the energy was only produced by central power plants like hydro, coal, gas, nuclear, and so on, to a new world with a mix of these central power station and distributed energy sources. So again, solar and wind mainly, but also biomass and others. And so there is a need, it is very clear for the industry and for the academies, that there is a need to a new framework that can balance together this source of energy. So because solar and wind are not programmable, so they are intermittent and you cannot really control them. In the electric grid, there is a issue that you always have to synchronize production and consumption. So with previous framework, with controllable energy plants, you could easily control the production, so it was easier to do. While with this big amount of uncontrollable energy sources, you need something new to control also the demand side. So we're approaching the smart grid problem with a demand-side management solution. And so we're developing a way to develop energy communities. That means that in a district or in a condominium, you can exchange energy between prosumers, so producers and consumers, in a way that is good for them economically, and it's also good technically for the grid. So we can preserve the grid quality, meaning voltages, frequencies, and so on.
So does that mean that I, as a consumer, if let's say I have solar panels at home and I can connect to that network and participate into the electricity production, how will that work for the...
Exactly. So you can sell your exceeding solar energy. Of course, you consume yourself a part of your solar energy, but the one that you don't need in your building, you can sell it to your neighbors typically. And it's good because you use only a very small part of the grid. So the fee to use this fee is not very high. So it's convenient for you. You get a better tariff for your solar energy, and your neighbors can have a cheaper energy compared to the one bought from the national grid. So something already happening in Switzerland and Germany. There are new laws also happening in the European Union. It's something that's in academies and also in the industry we are listening by several years. It's inside the framework of digitalization of energy.
So maybe can we take a step back and explain how this process currently work in the current framework? Let's say that I have solar panels right now, and what do I do with my excess energy? Can I still access that grid, or?
Yeah, so currently you sell your exceeding energy to the grid, but it's paid with a quite low tariff, and it's forecasted in the future that this tariff, this buy tariff from the grid will go down again. It's already happening, like in Germany, we have a very low tariff, and it's about 3 cents of euro per kilowatt hour or 4 cents. And so that's because it's not coordinated. It's just very often a sort of energy that is not needed from the grid, or it's not really optimized. While with this energy communities approach, we offer some sort of incentives to the users to consume the energy in the same time where it is produced locally. So we also save on energy losses on the grid, because of course whenever you transfer energy in low voltage or medium voltage grid, you have of course losses because of the Joule effect. And so we're also optimizing the usage of the grid. Moreover, with the new users of the grid, like electric vehicles, chargers, batteries, heat pumps, and so on, that are developing quite fast now, you can easily optimize your energy profile, because they have some sort of flexibility. So, for example, with the current system, if everybody arrives at home at 7 p.m. and everybody is connecting the electric vehicle to the charging system, without any optimization, it will cause a peak on the grid, and this is very bad for the grid operator, and it is very bad economically and technically. But with our system, we have an algorithm that is going to optimize this charging, just providing a pricing signal. So the users will have a sort of driving signal that will incentive them to have a proper charging profile. And in this way, they can save money. And at the same time, the grid is happier because they have a better profile. So it's more stable and they do peak shaving, which is quite important.
Mm. Great. So can you talk a bit about your background and the team behind the project? Because I know that you come from academia and you're all with very solid background in energy. So can you please?
Yeah, HivePower is already a private company, but it's still a spin-off of a university. We are based in Switzerland. We are really a Swiss company. We are a spin-off of a Swiss university. And the university, we're working on a smart grid project by 7-8 years now, and we already applied decentralized approach even before the Ethereum network. So we were really testing this decentralized approach even before this blockchain hype, because we really believed that this could be a more democratic solution, more applicable at large scale. And so we realized like 1.5 years ago that blockchain was a very good technology to deploy this energy solution, also in this digitalization of energy framework. And so we started with a research project 1.5 years ago with European partners from Germany and Sweden. And we already studied the problem at simulation level. So we already made a lot of simulation of this new market mechanism in different environments. So it's already, I would say, demonstrated in simulation environment, if I could say. But the next step that we're starting right now is to develop pilot projects. So we are facing real problems. So like what happens when you lose the internet connection, when you lose some data and so on. So we're going to demonstrate our solution in Switzerland, in Germany, and in Sweden. So this European project was very good to start with the academic part, so really simulation, design of market mechanism, and so on. And now with this startup, we can deploy our solution in real environments.
So do you have any partnerships already in place with?
Yes, we, because of previous projects, we are pretty trusted by industrial partners, especially in Switzerland, but also at European level. So we're already working with Landis+Gyr. It is another Swiss huge company that is providing smart meters. And so they are supporting us in the first pilot project to connect our system to the existing smart meters. In the future, we hope to continue to work together with them to develop their next generation smart meter that will be for sure blockchain ready. And so this is a very important partnership for us to have real feedback from the industry. That is, of course, super important in the energy framework. You cannot just develop something by yourself and try to implement it. It doesn't work like this. You have to work at full scale with every industrial partners and grid operator and so on.
So this network will be connected in a way to existing energy networks. Is that how it works? Yes. You have to partner with them as well. They have to agree to.
Yes, so every grid operator has to agree to use the existing network because it doesn't make sense to build a new one. It's too expensive, and so. But they are aware that they have to change their own business model. They cannot just anymore just sell energy to make profit. They have to provide services. They have to provide a new way of energy management, in particular to avoid this death spiral that is happening in the energy distribution, because solar energy is going to be cheaper and cheaper every year. It's already very cheap today, cheaper than the energy you buy from the grid. There are batteries that are becoming quite soon very competitive. So people could be enforced to be autonomous. And if everyone is autonomous or almost autonomous, it will be very bad for the energy managers because they can sell and buy very small quantity of energy, but they still have the same OPEX, so operational expenditure on the grid operation and maintenance. So the energy bought from the grid will be super expensive, and then again it's a vicious cycle. So that's why we call it the death spiral. So the energy will be more expensive, so the people will be again more autonomous and so on. So it's something that it's very non-optimal, suboptimal. And so we propose a way to solve this problem, providing sort of trade-off. So local energy communities that are still connected to the national grid and cooperate together.
Nice. So can you talk a little bit about what the hives are and how this works within your system?
Yeah, so we've been inspired by the beehives environment. So the hive are the energy community. So these are locally connected together. So the first example could be a condominium, where the owner of the condominium owns the solar panels on the rooftop and can sell the energy to the tenants. Because today, for example, when you buy the energy from the grid, you pay a quite high tariff, like 20 cents per kilowatt hour. When you sell it for a low price, like 6 or 5 cents. So in this way, there is a huge gap between buy and sell prices, and within the condominium, you can sell it from the solar panels to the tenants to a tariff that is convenient for both, like could be 12, 13 cents. So the tenants will be saving money, and the owner will have profits from the solar rooftop. So this is the first example. The second that will be very common is several buildings connected together. So they have to be physically connected together in the same electrical grid, as it's already happening today. And so they will share energy. So when the people have exceeding energy from the solar rooftop or from other sources, they can sell to the other users in the same community. Of course, there will be a little gap between the buy and sell, again, prices, because you have to, of course, compensate for the usage of the local energy grid. So the local operator will still have a sort of fee for the usage of the local grid. And we're designing a tariff scheme that is promoting the coordination of users, that is super important in energy communities. Again, to optimize both their economical advantages, but also the grid quality. Because if you have a kind of district with a lot of solar power from the rooftop and low demand, for example, in summer where everybody is on vacation, it will be quite problematic for the grid to maintain a good voltages level. So it's technically already quite a problem, but in the future it will be more important because of the development of renewables and so on.
Okay. Well, you mentioned that you researched other decentralized solutions before, but you decided on incorporating all that on the blockchain. Can you speak a little bit about why?
Yes. So with blockchain, we have several advantages. One very clear is you can integrate very easily the billing. It is already still a quite expensive feature for the energy retailer, so they have to use a centralized database and then billing people and a lot of papers and so on. But with the smart contracts, and in particular with stable token, we can automatize this process very easily, and that's one of the main advantages. But with blockchain, we can also certify that the meters that are connected together in the energy community are really on the same local district. So the grid operator with our token can certify that every smart meter connected together are really in this grid. So we also use, of course, off-chain solution. Like we're working with Liquidity Network. It's another Swiss startup. They're providing an off-chain solution to allow our coordination system, because we have to do a lot of transaction or information exchange, and we cannot, of course, do it on the Ethereum network because it's too expensive. Because, of course, the transaction costs still today are not permitting this exchange of a lot of information. So we can do it safely with this token, with our token. We can do it easily thanks to the stable token payment. And yeah, we see that it's really a promising technology for the future, and also a lot of utility that we have been talking so far. Everybody is very interested in testing this blockchain solution. Everybody is thinking that it's very promising for the energy business, because also it's a machine-to-machine environment. So you don't. It sounds like it's made for the energy business. So it's automatically working on the behind. You don't even have to know that, like the final users that doesn't really know that they're using blockchain. Like today, nobody, I think 99% are not aware that the TCP/IP protocol that is behind internet, but everybody is using it. So it's a similar revolution, I think.
So you mentioned your native token and also a stable token that you're going to use. Can you share a bit about that? Why do you have two tokens? And is the stable token also your token of your network, or are you going to use a different one?
Yeah, we don't want to develop a stable token. It's not our business. We just want to focus on our core problem. So the platform, when it will be operative, we will allow a set of possible stable token that will be basically based on fiat currency. So we imagine that depending on the country where the project is developed, like if you have a Swiss project, a Swiss community, you will use a Swiss franc-backed token. If you are in Europe, you will use a euro-backed token, or in US, a US dollar token, whatsoever. So this token will be provided by a third party. There are already some working today, but I think there will be a kind of explosion of stable token in the next months.
So what will be the stable token used for within the network?
So just for the billing. So once per month or once every 3 months, you will have the billing automatically done by the smart meters. So the smart meters will have a wallet in themselves, and they will exchange the stable token together to compensate for the energy production consumption.
So you'll be able to pay your electricity bill through this network with a stable coin.
So in the first phase, I expect that people have to buy maybe indirectly the stable token. It will be quite a no-brain solution. But I expect that a lot of things will be paid by stable tokens. So you will already have your wallet with stable token. From your wallet, you easily move this token to your smart meters.
So any profit also that people will make from their produced electricity, they will receive in that stable token.
Yeah.
Okay. So then what is the use of the Hive token then? What is that?
So the Hive token is used just to create and to manage the energy communities. So it's a sort of certification of your that your smart meter is really connected in this regular low voltage grid. In the future, for the future version, we're already working on a way to have also a sort of governance of this energy community based on these tokens. So you can change a little bit of the parameters that are the configuration of the energy community. So we're also going in the direction of democratization of energy. It's one of the 4D that we talk about in the energy. So we have democratization and decarbonization, of course, that we promote thanks to the promotion of renewables, digitalization, and so we're all working on this.
So in a way, if I want to register my household on the grid, on your grid, I will need the Hive token to.
Yes, and you have to stake a certain amount of token in a smart contract that we call the beekeeper. And this amount of token will be, I would say, stable in fiat currency. Like you have to stake $10 of token in this smart contract. So it will always be possible to make new communities and to join existing communities, because the price of the token, if the value of the token is going up on the exchange, you will need less tokens. So it's a sort of way to guarantee that it will always be possible to make new communities and so on.
Yeah. So, are there any competitors within the blockchain space
Yeah, there
that
are many
so
other companies trying to combine together blockchain and energy business. Most of them, I think, they are not really solving an existing problem. They're just promising that they will use blockchain to do the exchange of energy in communities, but they are not really maybe aware of the problem that they will face in a real environment. That's just because most of them, they don't really come from the energy business. So they don't really know all the technicalities that happens in this business. And some of them are just promoting renewable energy. It is something that I don't think is necessary, because already today solar is the cheapest way to produce energy. So you don't need to certify solar energy. It's already promoted by its own cheap cost.
great. Well, as we are coming to a close, maybe can you share a few words about the ICO? When do you expect that to start? And also, why should people support you here?
Yeah, so the ICO will start in 5 weeks from today, so it's 11th of June. We will do it with IDO. It's another Swiss company, very well doing in the blockchain environment. And it's also a very safe way to participate to an ICO, because you don't have to input any Ethereum address. Just use their smartphone app to join the community. We have been followed by one of the most important lawyer group in Switzerland. I think one of the first one that was working in the blockchain. So we are fully compliant with the new FINMA guideline, the Swiss one. So we are doing thanks to the IDO collaboration, we are doing the KYC, so know your customer, and also the anti-money laundering. They have an anti-money laundering solution. We will provide minimum viable product at the end of the ICO when the token will be issued. So we are pretty sure that FINMA will consider our token utility token. So we're not risking that we could be considered providing a security. And yes, I think we also, as a spin-off, we wanted to play this game in a very safe way, because we are also using the name of university, so we don't want to risk anything on the legal side and so on. So the ICO will also have a kind of reasonable size. So the hard cap is $11 million. We don't want to ask for $50, $100 million like many other ICO are doing. Just make it reasonable to run the company for 3-4 years without asking any more fundings. So we can use this money to develop pilot project and further develop the blockchain together behind. And I think it's a reasonable way to promote it.
Great. And one final question: how will this Hive network be governed, and how would you make money out of that? How will you sustain?
Yeah, so for the energy that is exchanged inside the energy community, we will apply a very small fee, so just to use the platform. But we are now defining it more accurately, but it will be a very low fee, so people will not impact the convenience of using our platform. And it's something, it's very typical to use a certain background platform. You always have to use a sort of fee, but it's something around 1 cent per kilowatt hour or even less.
Okay, yeah, sounds reasonable.
Yeah.
Great. And how it will be governed? You positioned yourself as a DAO, so
yeah, so we will control the smart contracts that will govern this platform. And also, as I was saying before, the governance of the local energy, single energy communities would be in the second version more democratic. So people joining every energy community could try to modify the behavior to optimize for the overall benefit.
Great. All right. Well, thank you very much, Gianluca, for this conversation. We will leave your links and information on the page, and people can reach out to you, ask any follow-up questions
Yeah.
they may have, and we'll keep in touch.
Yeah, sure. We are very active on Twitter and Telegram channel, maybe also on Facebook. So if people have any question, please just join these channels and ask us. We are very happy to answer you, to have feedback from the crowd, and it's very important for us.